My 8 years of Jesuit education have instilled in me the belief that everyone has a story. I have been continuously shown examples of individuals whose commitment to seeking justice has led to incredible social change while at the same time caused them challenges of various degrees. Jean Donovan, Gandhi, Saul Alinsky, Cesar Chavez, Dorothy Day, and St. Ignatius of Loyola have all been inspirational to me at some point along my academic journey. However, my motivation for pursuing a career aimed at promoting social justice stems more from just the stories I read about in the classroom. My work at Tennyson Center and Family Tree's Women in Crisis Domestic Violence Shelter has introduced me to countless ordinary individuals whose stories of suffering and struggles are extraordinary. It is these survivors that have inspired me to work for victims advocacy. My Peace and Justice degree has given me knowledge about a variety of enlightening human beings, as well as presented me the opportunity to work firsthand in an assortment of environments aimed at correcting the injustices that are so prevalent in the world today. I was 16 when I began working at Tennyson Center for Children. Tennyson is a school and temporary housing residence for abused and neglected children. My work started in the classroom and eventually led to me coordinating an after-school reading program for some of the children. The kids I worked with at the site taught me how unique every person's situation could be. It was heartbreaking to me that a child as young as 5 could have endured some of the pain, loss, and hardships that some of these children had experienced in their short lives. I remember my interactions with Anthony, an abused 7-year-old whose foster mother died of a drug overdose in the time that I was working with him. I have never felt as sad for another person as I felt for Anthony that morning I heard about his mom. The fragility of life was so obvious in this instance, and it was here that I realized my calling to work with this marginalized group of people. I fell completely in love with my work at Tennyson, and it was this experience that inspired me to pursue my career in social work and helping victims of abuse. I am currently interning at Family Tree's Women in Crisis Domestic Violence Shelter. The truth that everyone has a story is evident at my work at the shelter. The courageous optimism that these women exude inspire me every day. I remember the first intake I witnessed with Liz, a 19-year-old whose abuser had beat her stomach until she had a miscarriage. She showed up at WIC's doorstep with bruises and lacerations. Her cheek was the size of a baseball from the stitches in her mouth that had busted open from an open-handed hit from her fiancé. I recently worked with Maria, an undocumented immigrant who had gathered the courage to leave her ongoing abuse. Maria fled without any money, without receiving any support from family or friends, and with the pressure of knowing she had 2 young children to provide for. Maria's abuser later filed false allegations of child abuse against her, and Maria's son was removed from her care. Despite her ongoing struggles, Maria managed to find the courage to fight for her family and is currently in the process of regaining custody for her young son. Gandhi, Chavez, Donovan, these are all remarkable stories that prove how powerful the human spirit can be. But I have discovered in my time here at Regis that it is not just these extraordinary people who are fighters. Ordinary people, like the survivors I work with at the shelter, strive to overcome incredible challenges every day. I am constantly amazed at the amount of pain a person can inflict on another human being. My work reminds me of the unavoidable hardships that come along with life. Yet I have witnessed time and time again the inherent resilience and strength that is present in even the darkest of situations. Everyone has a story, and it is this that keeps me passionate and motivated to continue advocating for victims of injustice. These people are my true heroes.